I'm Sargent, and welcome to Argumental, the show where the biggest brains in British comedy debate the biggest issues facing mankind. Is there a God? Has political correctness gone mad? And when is Lindsay Lohan going to return my boxer shorts? Here to argue such pressing topics and many more like them are our teams. Please welcome, in the red corner, Captain Marcus Brigstocke and his special guest, Jimmy Carr. Opposing them in the blue corner, team captain Rufus Hound and his special guest, Charlie Higson. Right, let's crack on with round one, where I ask teams to argue about an issue we'll all have to face up to sooner or later. Yes, it's the London Olympics. Beijing was great, but we can be bigger, we can be better, and of course, we can be broker. Just a few short years, one recession, and several crippling tax rises to go before Hackney gets the dressage arena and fencing a dome it's been crying out for. So what I'd like you to argue is this: London should not host the Olympics in 2012. Proposing this statement is the captain of the red team, Marcus Brigstocke.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen. OK, folks, quick question for you. Who here's pleased the games have come to Britain? OK. Who here's not pleased? And who here couldn't give a toss either way? Hey, do you see? Only in Britain does a vote for apathy inspire more passion than any of the other options on the board. Did they care about A? It was hard to tell. Did they care about B? I'm just not sure. Did you ask if they cared about bugger all? Yep, and they did a dance. We are too apathetic to host the Olympics. The truth is, no one in Britain wanted the Olympics until we heard France was going to get it. That's what happened, wasn't it? We put in the Olympic bid, the whole of Britain went, no, it'll be shit. When is it? Oh, bollocks, I'm busy that week, it'll rain, people will slip over, it'll be rubbish. What? The French want it? Go on then, we'll have it, be all right. Up yours, Pierre. Paris? I don't think so, son. We can't have the Olympics over here. For goodness sake, it's being hosted in the East End. You fire a starting pistol, someone will return fire. Do you really want to see equestrian events being held in Greenwich Park? Zara Phillips stepping away from the arena, leaving her horse there for all of 10 seconds to come back and find it up on bricks? What a horrific image that is, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to cost a fortune. You knew there was financial ineptitude when the thing begun. Gordon Brown was still Chancellor. He put in the bid for the Olympics. He left off VAT. What, did he think he could do it for cash?
14 billion quid, I'll just go to the machine.
Of course it was going to cost a fortune. I don't know why people are surprised about that. Haven't these people had builders? Doesn't make any difference whether it's a new conservatory or a few billion quid's worth of Olympic equipment. 2 weeks in, a bloke with a rolled-up fag shuffles out going, yeah, it's going to be another 9 billion because we couldn't get a skip. Don't bring the Olympics to London. It's not going to work out. Vote with the red team, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcus. But Charlie Higson, is he talking utter crap?
Well, of course he is. I am here to oppose the motion that we should not host the Olympics in London in 2012. And what a typically British negative proposition that is. And in fact, these two gentlemen on the red team sum up that British character so well. It's a mixture of whinging, self-loathing, pessimism and negativity.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that's very fair.
Let's face it, that's what the British are. I mean, most people in this country were really pissed off that we did so well in the Olympics. And we were all primed to go down the pub the next day, weren't we, going to say, God, we were rubbish at the Olympics, aren't we? We haven't won anything. Iceland got more gold medals than us. But no, disaster. We came fourth. There are stand-up comics all around the country in tears in their dressing rooms, throwing away pages of material about how crap we were at the Olympics. Because it was unprecedented, it was unheard of. And there's absolutely no reason why the London Olympics shouldn't be equally successful for us. You know, everyone says, oh, yeah, but, you know, the Chinese, they built their parks so quickly and so efficiently. Well, there are reasons for that. And, yes, it will be different in Britain. That's because in this country we have a tradition of having to pay our labourers and not being allowed to tell everybody what to do from behind the controls of a tank. So Yes, it will. It will take longer to build our Olympic Park, and it will be more expensive, and probably most of it won't work, but that is the British way. But, I mean, like probably most of you, I watched the closing ceremony in Beijing with some nervousness, because I was thinking, what on earth are we going to do when they give it to us? What's the handover going to be like? Because the Chinese put on this fantastic display with fireworks and singers and dancers and acrobats, and it was amazing. I think, how do we top that? But no. They cut to England for the handover, and there it was, a beautiful sunny day in London with these crowds outside Buckingham Palace cheering and waving Union Jacks, and the whole thing was kicked off triumphantly by the cast of We Will Rock You. Oh, shit. We're crap, aren't we? It's going to be rubbish. I rest my case.
Thank you, Charlie. OK, any more to add?
I mean, Charlie, you talked about the handover. I mean, surely if there was any indication that we are not equipped to deal with the Olympics, it was Boris Johnson going to China and then saying ping-pong's coming home.
But at the same time, who would you rather have in charge? Boris Johnson or one of them Chinese men?
Well, you can't describe Ken Livingstone as one of them Chinese. He's a bit of a lefty, sure, but...
I love the way, even the handover, when they did the handover, what did we do? They did this brilliant Cirque du Soleil-style trapeze artist, one world, one vision, and we had a bus, and the top blew off it. We're trying to give the terrorists clues. This is what we had in mind.
I mean, you know that Britain's not ready for the Olympics, right? 2012 is when the Olympics coming. So what are the BBC doing in 2011? Moving their entire sporting department to Manchester. Fucking way to work it through.
Yes, that's why I only watch Dave.
I think we should move on.
Yeah. Top Gear starts in a minute. Quick.
Well argued on both sides, I'd say, but which team made the best case? Time for our studio audience to decide. If you think it was Marcus and Jimmy who won the argument, hold up your red card, and if you think Rufus and Charlie made the best case, hold up the blue card. Vote now.
There we go.
A victory for the Reds. So well done, Marcus and Jimmy. The British building contractor has guaranteed that the Olympic Stadium will be finished on time for the opening ceremony on the 6th of August 2012, just as long as it starts late-ish in the afternoon. OK, next up is the slideshow. One member from each team will again be debating a hot topic, but this time I'll throw in a series of pictures they've never seen and must incorporate in their argument. Jimmy, I'd like you to go first, and the topic I'd like you to propose is this: computer games are corrupting our kids. Here's a picture to start you off. Away you go.
Right, well, when I was a teenager, of course, I was reading pornography on the toilet. These kids are playing games. They're ignoring pornography. It's a shocking indictment. Some of them don't even know how to masturbate. It's a terrible business. Some of them don't even know how to sit on a toilet, it would appear. There are 324,000 reasons, which I will now list, why computer games are a bad idea. 1. Kids are getting fat because they're sitting at home playing computer games and they're not getting out of the house. It must be... I mean, think of our poor paedophiles. It must be like fishing for cod in the North Sea. They never leave the house. They're never down the park. What a terrible business, these computer games. They're fat, they're a waste of space, they're... Sorry, Jade Goody doesn't really come into this argument, and that's all I can think of. When I was a kid, we had role models. Yes. When you didn't have computer games, we were brought up properly by television. And that's what we... Yeah. Good. The Spice Girls. You may as well play computer games. You may as well live in a second life, because this one's rubbish. Look at them. Just a bunch of shop girls that got lucky. Makes you think, actually, civilization should just give up. It's a fine argument.
Thank you, Jimmy. And now representing the blue team and arguing that computer games are not corrupting our kids, it's Rufus Hound. And here's your first picture.
Video games are not corrupting our youth. It's as simple as that. I grew up playing video games and I'm a perfectly sensible, rational human being. I'm so sensible and rational, I spend most of my time reading the Daily Mail. That's how sensible and rational I am. And that's how I know our kids are not being corrupted. If we look at this chart, we see that the red section of that chart is the number of kids who have possibly been corrupted by video games because they're playing video games. However, the rest of the chart, they weren't able to test them because they were the kids busy shagging, stabbing, shoplifting and buying Jimmy Carr's DVD, which is neither big nor clever.
Very reasonably priced, though.
Sorry, this has gone slightly off topic. It just makes my blood boil. Burst out of me like a volcano when people say that video games are corrupting our youth. What is it people are so worried about? Is it that it inspires violence? Is it a chicken and egg situation? I mean, if it is, then we have to look for when the first video game was produced, which I think was about 1980, Atari. That was the first home console. So we'd have to look when was the first example of human violence. And I think that was when one protozoa evolved an eye and another protozoa was heard shouting, "And what do you think you're looking at?" I suppose, you know, if you're going to wrestle... if you're going to wrestle with this as a notion, you could end up looking at a right cock. But the point is, ladies and gentlemen, that maybe in 1997, if there'd been somebody there who'd played a little bit more Mario in that Paris subway, maybe somebody would have known how to save a princess. It was a long time ago. Grow up.
Well done, Rufus. Marcus and Charlie, are you happy with those arguments?
Well, is it possible to have a look at the pie chart again? Because I think that was quite informative from,
yeah, it was informative,
from Rufus's.
yeah.
There we are.
Here we go.
Well, it's actually not a pie chart at all. It's Pac-Man.
Yes. And what's happened to him? A child who's been playing computer games from too long has smashed him in the side of his little round yellow face and cracked him into tiny pieces. And that other section there, that's his mouth blood.
They clearly do influence kids, violent computer games. I was explaining to a hooker that I beat up this morning.
So hang on, you'll all laugh at Jimmy Carr beating a hooker, but I mentioned a woman who died 11 years ago, and you're like, ooh!
Yeah, but there'll be a lot of people out there that don't believe she's actually dead, whereas they think he probably did beat up a hooker. There's a truth to it. A bit more comfortable.
Thank you, gentlemen, thank you. OK, it's up to the studio audience to decide who made the best argument. Red for Jimmy and blue for Rufus. Vote now.
That's blue.
Yeah, that's blue.
Well, you can't just say that's blue. I'm sure we have some sort of system
I think the Reds have it.
Oh.
I think the Reds have it. OK, a victory for the red team. The audience thinks that computer games are corrupting our youth, so well done, Jimmy. According to experts, computer games are responsible for a rapid decline in traditional boyhood skills, such as scrumping, tying a banger to a cat's tail, and taking a swan's eye out with an air rifle. Ah, the golden days. After the break, we'll be asking if the Roonies are an inspiration to us all. Don't go away. Welcome back to Argumental, the show that provokes more hot-tempered disagreements than Naomi Campbell at an airport. Next up, we plunge into the world of celebrity, where this week's front-page stars are this couple. The Roonies, taste-dodging, missing link newlyweds, Wayne and Colleen, also known as the Aldi Poschenbecks. The couple have recently spent £5 million on their lavish wedding ceremony on the Amalfi Coast, which, if you're wondering, Wayne, is in Italy. But the statement I'd like the teams to argue is the Rooneys are an inspiration to us all. First up, it's the blue team, Charlie Higson. Why are they such an inspiration?
Rooney, well, he is a man from a fairly short stature. Sorry. He's a man of fairly short stature from an underprivileged background who, with a combination of tremendous energy and some God-given skills, has brought entertainment and thrills to many people around the world. And in the course of his fantastic career, he's also married one of the most beautiful and talented women in the world. That is, of course, Mickey Rooney. This is Wayne Rooney. Now, sadly, I don't really know very much about football. All I know about him is he's a pretty talented footballer who only occasionally uses prostitutes. But let's face it. Wayne Rooney has been an inspiration to us all. And I'm sure that these two cold-hearted bastards over there are going to make some cheap jokes about the man, simply because somebody from an underprivileged working-class background has had the temerity to be very successful and to make lots of money. Oh dear, what a terrible thing. It's not my concern how he spends his money. He can spend his money however he likes. He is actually a very talented man, and which is something that those two arrogant tossers over there will, I'm sure, not be able to grasp as they make a series of cheap jokes at the poor Rooney's expense. Thank you.
Thanks, Charlie. Next up is Jimmy arguing on behalf of the Reds and against the Rooneys.
Well, can I just first off say, you got us pretty much bang to rights there. Of course, Colleen is the face of Asda. Wayne is the face of bags of spanners. He's got a tattoo on his arm. Wayne Rooney has a tattoo on his arm saying, "Just enough education to perform." He doesn't know what the shapes mean, but he thinks they look like wriggly worms, and that makes him laugh. In his defence, he is an exceptional footballer, but more than that, he can also touch a button, which gives him peanuts. It's an incredible skill, you should really see it. Wayne was given a very hard time, very unfairly. He was given a hard time for sleeping with a grandmother. He was accused unfairly, I believe, of sleeping with a grandmother prostitute. What we have to remember is he's from Liverpool. She was a grandmother, yes, but she was only 35. I'm not saying she's a gold digger, but really. I mean, she's apparently worth about £20 million now, and looking at him, she's earned it. I rest my case.
Thanks, Jimmy.
This is very, very poor.
It isn't. No, just wait. Things
No,
can pick
it
up.
is, because, look at our audience, right? They're all people who've got shoelaces and some of them got newsprint on their fingers. They're not the sort of people who are going to feel comfortable saying that in their darkest moments, a quick brush through the career of Colleen gives them a bit of power. They're all busy reading Sylvia Plath and, you know, wishing they worked for The Guardian.
Have you seen the people behind us? Because I think they're really aspiring. They're thinking, Asda, you're only paying for the label. No offence.
Do you know now you can buy a suit in Asda for £5?
You can.
Yeah, whereas you would just do an advert for them.
I'm thinking about... Oh, no, I would. I did M&S.
You did, in their range of suits.
Yeah, it was nice. I didn't wear any of the suits, but I did use some of the money to buy some nicer suits. Is that fair? They seemed remarkably nice about it. Yeah, no, you can buy a suit for how much is it? £15? It was in the paper just the other day.
And she is the face of that product line, is she?
They've replaced her with ordinary girls. They stopped paying her £3 million a year and they've gone for ordinary girls. But I don't think you can get much more ordinary than that.
Yeah. I think that's very unfair, because I have to.
You are obliged to disagree.
Yeah.
I don't think he's the brightest. What do you think?
I'd be interested to know what personal, given that you're arguing that they are an inspiration to us all, what personal inspiration you've drawn from this couple, Charlie Higson, comedy genius who we all admire.
Well, we don't all have to be clever and posh like you, Marcus.
No, but you are, Charlie, and that's the main thing.
I can't pretend that I'm not clever and posh as well. But that doesn't mean that I'm blind to the skills of Wayne Rooney and the fact that he's done very well.
Yes.
And the fact that that is an inspiration for a lot of people who don't get to swan around on chat shows and panel games.
Plus the fact
who do you draw your inspiration from?
You, Charlie Higson.
OK, that's
Plus
enough.
the fact, actually, let's be honest, if any of us weren't sort of a bit posh and a bit middle class arguing this, then the debate would have just gone like this. Ooh-ah-yeah! Ooh-ah-yeah! Ah! Ooh-ah-yeah!
I think...
OK, thank you. Thank you all.
I'd just like to say that is a winning argument.
OK, thank you all. Well, the final decision, of course, is in the hands of our studio audience. It's a red card for Marcus and Jimmy and a blue one for Rufus and Charlie. Vote now. Yes. Right, so a triumph for the Blues. It seems the audience believes that the Rooneys are an inspiration to us all. So, well done, well done.
Look what you've done to Britain.
So well done, Rufus and Charlie. Wayne Rooney has been an inspiration to thousands of lads, proving that whatever your background, you can become a wealthy, world-class sportsman. And Colleen has been an inspiration to thousands of women, proving that whatever your background, you can become a top celebrity through sleeping with a wealthy, world-class sportsman. The Rooneys are an inspiration to millions of us. Last night I saw Wayne Rooney playing football and he immediately inspired me to make a trip to Greg's the Baker's. Time now for the quick-fire round and a last chance for our teams to demonstrate their argumental prowess. I'm going to show them a series of pictures. All they have to do is suggest an argument to go with them. OK, here we go.
This is an argument for training the crankies to do the Queen's security.
I think it's an argument for keeping a watchful eye out for the Russians infiltrating our army.
What, you think they're under the hats?
No. I think there may be a smaller soldier to one side and a bigger one on the other side, and that they all fit inside each other.
Sorry, are you calling the entire British military gay?
Yes, I am.
If you've been affected by any of the issues in this programme, Jimmy Carr's address will be made available afterwards.
Hello, Aldershot, you benders. I don't know why I said that. I'm an idiot.
We're going to move on.
This is an argument for not getting drunk on a blind date with Michael Bolton.
I think this is a very strong argument against gazelle-scented lipstick. It can go horribly wrong.
It's an argument for putting an end to the practice of making spin-off porn films from mainstream cinema. Shaving Ryan's privates, etc. This is clearly some sort of Narnia movie that I want no part of.
I've seen that porn film. It's the Lion Quim.
Another picture.
Oh, that's an argument for him having 99 problems.
I think that's an argument for never calling the entire British military gay when they turn up outside your house disguised in an ice cream van and blow it to bits.
Now, hang on, the military turned up in an ice cream van? Well, that is a bit gay.
Jimmy, are you calling all ice cream van salesmen gay?
Yes, I am. If you're watching this, Mr. Whippy, you're a puff. They're not a key demographic for me, fuck it.
OK, the next picture coming up.
I think that's a pretty strong argument for buying a peerage. I can think of 6 reasons in that picture alone.
But then you are a massive fan of hockey sticks.
That's right, and the work of Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber.
What would you say, Marcus, is your favourite Lloyd Webber musical?
It's got to be Starlight Express, and I'll tell you exactly why, Rufus Hound. I took 3 consecutive girlfriends to the same seat and got laid every time. Simply a ticket and a cornetto. Starlight Express, and the answer was yes.
This is our last picture.
I think that's a strong argument for livening up Prime Minister's Question Time.
That's an argument against putting the one-eyed guy on the gun.
Sorry, are you calling the Prime Minister gay?
If he'll get a laugh. Can we get a laugh?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he's gay.
It's an argument for not letting you have a... hang on a second, I'm cooking one up. One just came. Halfway through that last one just came.
This could swing the vote.
Yeah, wait, hang on, it's almost there.
Do you want to have a think? Shall I do one?
You shut up! Not now, Carr!
Who let the dogs out?
It's an argument. For...
3 words.
It's an argument for not calling all of the military gay.
OK, that's it. So, for the final time, it's down to our studio audience to decide which team was the most argumental. Red for Marcus and Jimmy, and blue for Rufus and Charlie. Vote now.
Ooh. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
This crowd loves a gay joke.
They'd be mental not to.
That's weird. They voted against you.
You'll change your minds now.
So, I can tell you that the red team have won the round, which means this week's winners are the red team. Well done, Marcus Brigstocke and Jimmy Carr. Commiserations to Rufus Hound and Charlie Higson. That's all we've got time for. Good night.
And you can fulfil all your argumental-related needs 24/7 by visiting our mighty fine website, which requires you to type this, joindave.co.uk. And next tonight, Mock the Week, which requires you to type nothing.